Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the number one NFL newsbreaker, NFL reporter, and sushi aficionado, Mike Garofolo, with us. His weekly appearance brought to you by Hartley & Hartley Insurance, your trusted family-owned insurance experts in the Puget Sound area since 1978. Honesty, fairness, integrity. Contact Jamie Hartley when he's not playing golf, and he's not playing right now because we've got an atmospheric river running through this city and this state. 253-565-8700. Also, Zogs on Fox Island, perfect spot to grab a cold beer, hang out with friends, catch the game. Check out Zogs, all their hours and event times on Facebook and Instagram. You're never supposed to ask a lady how old they are. I don't know if those rules apply to a man. I don't think they do. I think are you in the mid-40s? Where are you at, Mike?
Right in the middle, 45.
Right in the middle. Okay. Could you envision yourself getting out of bed and saying, I'm going to suit up and play this weekend? At 45 years old, throw on the helmet and the cleats and say, F it. I'll go throw the football around again one more time.
It's hard to do that for the average person because I didn't do that at 25, right? So
Right.
we did on Good Morning Football, Kyle kind of put it out there, and then we had a little mini chat about it, about, what did you do? What did you do when you were 25 that you just know would just break you now?
Right.
Like, what's your Phillip Rivers? And the best I could come up with, because he did, Kyle asked me, when's the last time you did a full on sprint? And I was like, well, yesterday, because that's actually part of what I do. Like, I just, there are certain athletic things I can't do, but certain things that I commit to doing as part of my regimen. And the reason that I sprint is because it's over a lot faster than a 5-mile run, right? Like, you do it, I'd rather be done. I understand it's like a lot of, you could say you're sprinting, but jog it. Like, no, I'll really get after it. But after, my buddy runs marathons, and I'm like, I ran 10 miles. I did that 3 to 4 times, I want to say. There's a 10-mile race in Philly, Broad Street Run. You run right down Broad Street. It's a great run. And I remember at the end of it thinking, I'm not even halfway done a marathon. Like, how in the world would I ever run 26 miles? So that's not me, but I do the sprinting thing. So the best I could come up with is I played in high school, and I played in cold weather games. And I don't remember ever being like, oh my, it's too cold right now. I was on the sideline, and I've had this for cold weather games before, but I was on the sideline for the Eagles, Bears, Black Friday game. And it was only 40 degrees. I think that was the 40 degrees. But the wind was whipping.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I couldn't even do TV. I was so cold. I wanted out of there. And I just remember looking around and thinking to myself, like, these guys are going to run into 300-pound people right now. And I just think about, like, one hit in those conditions would be shattered like the Terminator, like the T-1000.
Yeah, you just break it but a million pieces.
Into a million pieces. Like
Right.
That's exactly. And if it didn't literally happen, it's probably how I would feel. So that's the best I could come up with. It's impressive. I mean, we talk about football shape for guys who hold out a training camp for 2 weeks, right? Like, think about being 5 years away. I think it's not so much the age thing for him. I think it's the layoff. And I couldn't believe I forgotten about this. Steve DeBerg was gone for 5 years. Like, I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember that at all. So when DeBerg left and they came back to play for who? The Chiefs?
93, and he came back to play for, where's my phone? I don't have my phone on me.
Or was when he
look it up. He 93, and he came back in 98. And I don't remember anything. And I was 18. It wasn't like, oh, I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
Like, I should remember that. Pretty staggering.
He 93 with the Dolphins. He comes back in 98 with the Falcons. It's a hell of a. I don't remember
98
that
with the Falcons.
at all.
Didn't they make the Super Bowl? No. They made the Super Bowl in 2000.
He comes back back, according to Wikipedia, which I trust, comes back in 98 at 44 to rejoin Dan Reeves as the backup. October 25th, Chris Chandler, who's from out these parts, played at Washington, went to Everett High School, was unable to play, and so DeBerg became the oldest quarterback to start an NFL game, later surpassed by Brady. He led the Falcons against the Jets in a 28-3 Falcons loss. He went 9 of 20 for 117 yards before he was taken out for Tony Graziani.
Oh, I never would have gotten that. No. But wait a minute. What year did the Falcons make the Super Bowl? Because they played the Broncos. Was it 97? No.
Hold on. DeBerg was the oldest player on a Super Bowl roster at 45 years and 12 days when the Falcons appeared in the Super Bowl against the Broncos. So he was on that. He was on that team, and I don't remember a single.
There's
thing
no reason I shouldn't remember this. No reason.
He is so Rivers comes out. He's 44, hasn't played. He's been coaching. I mean, the whole Phillip Rivers story to me is incredible. He's got 10 kids. That's a whole other thing. He's a grandfather, which is incredible to be a grandfather at 44. But he's just. I watched his press conference. Looks like he's in good shape. Who knows if he can throw a football? I assume he's been coaching, so he's been throwing the football all around. What are the odds that he does start against Seattle on Sunday? Fairly high, you think?
The Riley Leonard full participant is the only thing that threw me a little bit there, because it's like, well, wait a minute, hold on. That's the guy that would have started. So maybe he gets one game but you don't have the luxury of that. And I'll make calls later today and find out, because today it was like, let's see how Wednesday, Thursday goes, and then we'll make a decision. So today's really going to be the day that we really find out whether he's truly got a shot. Because once you get into Friday, it's basically a glorified walkthrough for a lot of teams. So today was supposed to be the day that they were going to make a real decision internally. You don't go through all this to not have him play, right? So the only way he doesn't play is it's some kind of like, hey, I practiced the last 2 days and boy, I could barely get out of bed today, like that kind of thing. But he's there today and out of bed, so I assume he was fine after yesterday. So yeah, I think you don't have that luxury right now. It'd be a different story if, you'd won a couple games recently and you have a little bit of a cushion. They don't have that right now. So he's got to get in there. He's got to play. I think even if you alternated series, right? If you had him play just a little bit and just get acclimated that way and split time with Riley Leonard, I don't advocate for two quarterbacks ever, but in this case, that would be so we'll see how it goes. I gotta nose around today and find out.
Everybody wants to see him play. I want to see him play. Like, who doesn't want to see this guy play? It's one of the great stories of the season and certainly of the week, to see if he can go out there after being gone for so long and actually look like a somewhat of a little bit of a resemblance of how he used to play. And then I love the fact that he's going to wear 17.
Yeah. Which the NFL approved. Yeah.
Which is great.
I mean, even they understand the magnitude of this.
For people who don't know, Daniel Jones, maybe there's one person out there. It's like, well, why is that so important? Well, Daniel Jones was wearing 17. And I can't wait. I think it's great. It's just going to be one of those storylines. And I'm with you. I don't think you go through all of this and be like, all right, you're not active, and we're going with Brett Rippon.
Yeah. There are some details of his story, even some of the stuff that I was hearing about how it came together. Now, what you need to understand is this was not like, he's minding his own business. We just finished our high school season and the phone and Shane Steichen and some kind of like Hollywood type, calling a cop out of retirement type thing. He was actively communicating with Steichen for a variety of reasons. They are close. They run the similar offense. I saw somebody say they run the same offense in high school. I mean, they're not running an NFL version of it. There's just no way. Yeah. So they'd been communicating on that. But I was told that there's been non-Colts, non-Chargers, other situations where he's explored and discussed it. And in the NFL, the last 5 years, quarterback gets hurt late in the season, talks to his agent, talks to his advisors, talks to people around him. This one just so happened to line up the last team he played for, an organization that he appreciates, an owner who just passed away, but certainly he has a relationship with the family, a head coach that he's extremely tight with, a quarterback who's there in Riley Leonard that went to the high school that he coaches at, that he has mentored. So a lot of things kind of lined up on this one. And even to the point where he got on the plane, worked out, and was still that last day before he signed, there was still conversations of, am I doing this for the right reasons?
Right.
And the right reasons being, I'd love to win the Lombardi Trophy, right? We're sort of in the, I'd love to be able to mentor Leonard. I'd love to be able to help Shane Steichen not get fired. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just in my head, I'm sure that was, part of helping Shane Steichen, because he's resetting the Hall of Fame clock. And that's a big thing.
I know that That's amazing to me. So explain it for people who don't understand. It doesn't reset, right? If I understand this correctly, if he remains on the practice squad, but if he's active, it resets.
Yeah, takes a snap. I think so. They said if he's on the active roster, it resets. Now, what I assume is I have to further clarify. The minute he's elevated, because you can be elevated from the practice squad, but you're not technically on the active roster. You're elevated to the roster for a day so you can be active. But at some point, he's going to be active, right? Like, it's no matter how it happens. And as soon as he's active, then that restarts the clock and he's got to wait another 5 years, which you're currently in a little bit of a cluster with Drew Brees, with Eli Manning.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember who else, Ben Roethlisberger, right? And now, Aaron Rodgers is going to join the fray. Tom Brady's in the mix. Who am I missing? There's somebody else that is retired, has retired. So anyway, you're potentially getting yourself in a logjam.
Yeah.
Now, you did make the semifinals now, and you should feel good about getting in the short term. And maybe this helps you. Maybe you come back, you play great, and it helps your resume to be like, look, this guy was so good. He was off for 5 years, came back and played well. Who knows? But in the end, that's kind of stuff was secondary to a game. I love how much he loves the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I love that he's still a high school coach. I love that he's still involved. I love that he communicates with. He was a mentor. This is the other part. He was a mentor for Sam Darnold because they were all rep by CAA, the same agency. Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and I think Kyle Allen was the third one. And somebody sent me a video of him with them go in a film session from before the draft in 2018 or whatever year it was. So he's been a mentor for the guy that he's going against on Sunday. It's really an incredible thing that he's back and playing football.
And what another element to the story, his son, who is the starting quarterback on the school that he coaches there in Alabama, Gunnar Rivers, is like one of the top quarterback prospects in America. He's a 4-star recruit, being currently recruited by teams like Auburn, Boston College, Miami, NC State, South Carolina. I think he's in next year's class. I think he's a junior. So I don't know. It's fun. What a fun story. Can't wait to see if he actually gets on the field there Sunday against Seattle. I want to go back to last week. And I wish the go-to guy was here for this one, because I think I know what you're going to say. And then if I had the go-to guy, we would both be able to team up on you like an old school like tag team matchup, because I know you're going to disagree with us. How much money do you think Pete Carroll won on last week's game? And what alias does he use to make bets? Does he go through his kid Brennan?
If he did, I'm going to humor you for a minute. If he did.
Yeah, please.
Wouldn't there be like the NFL would have flagged a monster $5 million bet that was made on Sunday, right? Like that, this would be, there's no paper trail. If there was, we would have already known, right? So
okay.
Now, maybe they're working on it. I haven't heard of it.
There's a network he has a network. Maybe they just made these small little bets on it. His explanation, though, did you watch or read it at all? Like,
I saw there was a headline. I didn't get a chance to read it. What did he say?
Just classic Pete, where he just says a bunch but doesn't really say anything.
Right.
Classic Pete here. Blah, 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 compete, always competing. I mean, we would agree with this. Well, like, I'm having fun with it, but we can agree with this, or to this point. Like, where we're at with gambling and sports, the optics don't look good on that. I mean, you kick a field goal with 4 seconds to go.
Oh, I get my buddies.
And the line is 8.5.
Yeah. First of all, who had the Raiders? Where are the people that had the Raiders? All I heard was everybody that had the other side.
Probably.
Like, my buddies will send me these Instagram videos. You see, everybody's talking about, look, there's a shady play. There was one where he sent me a college kid ran out of bounds for no reason.
That one is bad. the GAT kid's bad.
Well, so I'm not saying that kid.
The University of Buffalo kid that was going to score a touchdown then runs out of bounds.
All right, but theoretically, who's more likely to have taken money, right? The University of Buffalo kid, or Pete Carroll, who's made $500 million over.
I don't know. Maybe it comes out. He's been living in Vegas. He's been sniffing around Brent Musburger, and all of a sudden now he's turned into some degenerate gambler. I don't know.
Apparently, Chauncey Billups was making what inevitably was peanuts compared to what he's made in the NBA. Right?
I don't know. But it doesn't look good when you know, and his explanation, well, I thought we'd have another second or two. Like, no.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Okay, so that's the problem, right? Theoretically, even if because somebody was like, well, the ball hit the net with 1 second left. That's great. The minute you recover the onside kick, the game's
over. That's exactly.
Yeah, you don't have if it was 10 seconds left, okay, you recover it, take a knee. Now you got one shot. Like that's much more understandable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they did quick math and thought, well, 3 seconds, no idea.
You know who I need on this story? I want you to reach out to her because she's kind of one of those old school dog investigative reporters. Go sick Judy Batista on this story. That's who I want. I want Judy. I want Judy.
Why are you laughing?
Because I just laugh. I want Judy with boots on the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
You know who would make should make Pete Carroll nervous, and maybe you cross paths with him. Probably, I would assume in your world. I always thought this about Charles Robinson at Yahoo. If I ever saw Charles Robinson knock on my door, I'd be like, nope, not talking. See you later. I'm out.
Charles Robinson at Yahoo. Dan Wetzel, who's now at ESPN.
Yeah. Out.
Who's going to have himself a field day with this Michigan story.
Oh, and now
he's already on it.
You've read all the stories that aren't just in the mainstream media, right? About what's going on.
I'm on social media, so yeah.
Oh, my God, this guy. All right, so there has to be some connections here with Sherrone Moore being fired yesterday at Michigan. This is one of the premier jobs. I don't think just one of the most premier jobs in college football. I think this is the most premier job in sports. I think this job trumps some NFL jobs.
Yeah. I mean, Jim Harbaugh felt that way at some point, right? When he was done with the 49ers. I think he could have probably gotten another NFL job, but it's like, let me go back to my alma mater, reset, help them. And by the way, I think it helped him. He came back a different Jim Harbaugh. He's more of a lovable Jim Harbaugh now. He really is. I think
but you can cast a wide net now if you're Michigan. It doesn't have to be just college.
You can. Yes, you can. There's no question about that. And some of the names, I guess, maybe we were throwing around for the Penn State job. It's like, well, you can kind of take that up a level to Michigan, I would think, right? I mean, if you're asking me, and I grew up a Penn State fan. I didn't go there, but I grew up a Penn State fan. My dad went there. You're asking me which job? I'd say 100% Michigan, just because of what it's been built up to be, and you're part of that rivalry every year. I would agree with you on that.
Sir, connections. I'm just trying to think. I can't think of. Jesse Minter's been everyone's recycling the same names that are out there, right? It's Kalen DeBoer, Alabama. Jed Fish out here at Washington's been thrown out. And then Jesse Minter, who is the D coordinator with the Chargers.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess Minter's been the only guy that I've heard.
I like Jesse a lot. I think Jesse's going to be a good head coach. I do. I don't know if it'll be at the NFL or college level. I don't know if it'll be in the next 2 years or 10 years. I think Jesse's got the chops to be a head coach. I do.
All right, let me ask you one, because this was brought up. I don't know who brought this up. I think I do know. It was Roethlisberger brought up Tomlin to Penn State. I think Mike Tomlin would be a guy at Michigan.
That doesn't strike me. Mike Tomlin's an NFL guy.
Okay.
I think Mike Tomlin's an NFL guy. I really do. Because I've heard people speculate about, and by the way, he didn't have to go to college, right? I know you said this trumps some NFL jobs, but he didn't have to go to college. He will get a job in the NFL if he wants another job in the NFL, which he's not going to get fired. It would have to be him sort of, hey, agreeing it's time to go our separate ways here.
What's Tom? Do you know what Tom Brady's role is with Michigan, other than just being obviously an alum? Does he have anything to do with the athletic department or at all?
I mean, it has anything to do with whatever he wants to have anything to do with there, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Like if especially if, I mean, this is they're so prideful, right? Like Michigan, or a Michigan man, right? A Michigan man, right? So now you got a Michigan man who's, got questionable code of ethics here, right? So this is going to be something that's going to be beyond football. It's like you're going to want to restore. So whether it's Rich Eisen or Tom Brady, Adam Schefter went to Michigan. Like, I'm sure these guys are all going to be like, let's rally around and see if we can. I mean, Schefter's reporting on the story. It's a little bit different, I guess. But let's try to help restore a little bit of pride there to the university, whether it's publicly from an image standpoint or help the hire or whatever. So I'm sure Brady's got a little bit of that going on for sure.
Yeah. Well, I just the ripple effect of this job, what it could mean for certain people if they moved around the chess pieces, and maybe it dips into the NFL world. But I mean, you start doing this, where DeBoer, maybe, who's been mentioned, leaves Alabama and goes to Michigan. There's people now speculating. Then Lane Kiffin, without even coaching a game, jumps from LSU to go to Alabama. I don't. Then it brings up
why
LSU.
in the hell would you leave Alabama though? Like, why?
I don't know. Why does anybody leave anywhere? I mean, I don't know. A new challenge.
Usually they leave for places like Alabama. I mean, I don't think, especially if like Nick Saban helped usher you in, and then you go, hey Nick, I gotta go to the Big Ten, right?
Maybe
there's just no way.
Maybe it's too much pressure. Not like there wouldn't be pressure in Michigan. There would be great pressure there. Maybe there's just too much of following.
I don't know. Everybody's different. I have no idea. I just can't imagine that you'd leave that job. Especially, by the way, you had 3 losses, one of which is the conference championship game, which they really, I love. And I watch college football and I enjoy college. I love how much of a mess it is.
It's so bad. It's so awful.
You want to bitch about tiebreakers and all this stuff. You have 18 teams in a conference. Okay. Maybe have 10 and stop there and have all these conferences.
They got this. Can you imagine putting together some committee that picks the NFL playoffs? They get together every week. Just a bunch of fat slobs in there, eating and drinking, sitting back in their lazy boy chairs, picking who's going to be in. Come on.
ACC had like a 6-way tie for the conference championship game, and everybody was losing their minds. I was like, you got 17 teams in the conference. Of course you're going to have 6 teams with 1 loss. What are you doing?
Should just do what they do in Texas high school playoffs when they decide a tiebreaker. You know what they do when they have multiple teams?
Make them play?
They flip a coin.
Oh.
They flip a freaking coin.
All right. Well, that's not better.
That's phenomenal. Can you imagine just getting everybody? And they'll do it like at a gas station someplace. And they'll flip a coin. Get them all in some gas station in the South, wherever, and flip the coin.
I remember the NFL did that a couple of years ago. The Vikings and the Eagles were tied for draft positioning, and they had a coin flip, and the whole media was there.
Yeah.
Cameras, everything. Howie was up on stage with I guess Rick Spielman was the GM at the time. And I forget who flipped the coin. And it was great theater. It's like you never see this in the NFL.
It's great.
I mean, other than at the start of a game or overtime.
Yeah. It'd be phenomenal. All right, Mike, thank you so much. As always, of course, Garofola brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance and Zogs on Fox Sound. You can catch them on the NFL Network all the time.
Hey,
NFL
Hartley and Hartley Insurance. That's car insurance. It's everything. Auto insurance, home insurance, life insurance.
It's just everything. All insurance. Family-owned insurance experts. I think it covers everything.
You got to be. They wouldn't do it in Jersey, right?
I don't think so. But you want me to reach out?
Yeah, please.
Okay, we will.
I'm not going to say my insurance company, but so I'm parking the other day.
You need new insurance.
Huh?
You need new insurance.
Yeah, I'm a great parker. Great. Okay. I'm a great driver, right? Okay. I'm great. I just misjudged it. I was pulling into our parking garage, and I was like, "What's that sound?" And I hit the gas, and I heard it again. I was like, "What's going on?" And I hit the gas, and I was like, "Did I just scrape the entire back quarter panel of my car against the pillar?" I did.
Oh,
dude, take a guess. I mean, take a guess at what the estimate. I didn't get an official estimate. I got an eyeball estimate from the body shop, which is at the dealership. Take a guess. 10,000. No, not that much. 3,000.
Well, yeah,
I'm like, it's a scraped back quarter panel, no dents, just the scrape, just a repaint. Well, we got to go up here, and we got to go all the way up. And we got to go all the way up to the front, and then we got to go all the way around the back because you got a piece of your bumper too. We got to go. It's like $3,000. So of course the estimate comes in from the insurance company. That's the first one. You take the pictures, and the estimate comes in $800. And I go, well, we got ourselves a little bit of a gulf here, folks. Okay. So I called the body shop. Nah, they always come in low. Don't worry about it. Then we'll call them. And I'm like, okay, you get 8, you get them up to like 12. How are you going to get them to 3,000? And then my wife's freaking out. My premium's going to go up. I said, I haven't had a claim. I looked it up. I haven't had a claim since 2009. And I don't even remember what the claim was.
You're good.
I had one. It's great. No, I had one time, right? So I know you got to go. So they got the snow and they plowed the snow, but it piled up in the street. So the cars were closer together. So I'm parallel parking on the left side and I'm not thinking about the right side because usually it's and all of a sudden, boom, I was like, what? Because the cars were so close together. I didn't even look. So I go out and look. So now the guy's got a front bumper. Okay. The side of the bumper that is so banged up and it was rusted. There was a hole because of the rusted through. It was a 1998 Nissan Altima or Maxima or something. So I leave him a note, right? And he calls me and he goes, yeah, it's $1,800 worth of damage. I'm like, bro, you had $5,000 worth of damage before I even touched your car. Okay. So I know what's happening here. I go, okay, I'm going to call my insurance company. Right. And that's I never heard from the guy ever again.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not.
I put the claim in.
Yeah.
And I double checked. I was like, you know what? No payments were ever made. It said right there. So.
It's the way it goes. I'm going to contact Jamie. I'll put you guys in contact and you guys can figure it all out. He's going to take care of you, I bet. I mean, you know what? Okay. Even if he doesn't do it, he'll probably do it. All right. Well, we'll see you on the network and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, Mike.
You got it. Thanks, Puck.